Hey, this is Tim coming straight at you. I'm in my neighborhood. Actually, it's the neighborhood I grew up in. And it snowed, and I thought it'd be a great day because it's like one of the last cold mornings. It's probably 16, 17 degrees right now that you're actually going to get to feel like a kid again. So it's Saturday, the 20th of February, and I am walking. I am getting ready to go on a ski trip to Jackson, Wyoming, which I've never been. Been to a lot of ski resorts, but that's one I've never been. I always wanted to go. And the flights were real reasonable, so it was awesome to go. But I'm pumped. Figured I'd walk, I'd get my steps in, and just quit letting your mind tell you you can't do something you did when you were a kid. So, a little bit of history here. Back in the mid 80s, when I was growing up, we used to come down here on these cold snows, 82 to probably 86, and head down to the creek or into the woods and just completely play in all this cold weather and have awesome fun. We used to call it Antarctica, so I'm going to go back there today. It's been probably 35 years, 36 years since I've been there, and I'm doing it. So I figured I'd video it and just kind of get back connected. I think we all have to get connected to stress our bodies, to relieve stress from our bodies, to relieve stress from our mind, and remember the innocence and the fun of being a kid and what it was like to have the curiosity to explore. So this is my first part of the video. I'll see you when I get to the... So as you can see, the creek is completely frozen. Now we're gonna enter the creek through this path right here and get down onto it. Snow's crunchy, which is nice. It's not going to be too fluffy anymore to where it gets all over you. But I'm going to jump down here and get close to the ice if I can. I don't know if I can. Look at all the tracks on there. This shit is frozen solid. So now I'm back in here and in the creek. Kind of start. There's ice there. It's wanting to break. So it's going to be interesting. I might get cold here. But I'm going to find out how it's going. All the snow and stuff, when it starts running on the faster areas, will melt quick because it got to 32 yesterday in the sun. And so when I was a kid, this gabion wall wasn't here. And look at all the deer. The deer have been hanging down here. Look at all the prints. Kind of wild, isn't it? Kind of cool. It's going to be neat to see the change. They've put a lot of erosion provisions in the creek since when I was a kid. We had different stuff. But look at all the deer tracks. There's a hole in the ice there. You can see where it's open. So I'm going to step out of the way of that. And moreover, kind of finding out where you're at here. So this is a flat area right here. One of the second bends after I came in. It's pretty wide open. It's a good spot. There's no houses around really. They're all back up on the hill. I think the ice is getting weaker down here. It's definitely going to weaken up today. Today I think will be the last day. You can see where the deer really punched through here. But it all froze over overnight. There was a hole right there. So, yeah, I don't think too many more days we would have ever been able to get onto this ice. You can see here how it's open right here. I think it's running pretty good. So, let me get over here and find a way over this. Right here is where an old water thing was slowed down, dammed up. But, this ice is just, I think it's froze to the ground thick. The only place that it's melting is where the sun melted off old water kind of warmed it up. I mean, that's frozen. And you know, this is one of the longest times that we've really had cold in St. Louis. I mean, it's been 13 days below freezing. It really was 14. It got to 32 yesterday. So they're kind of calling that out. But the other thing is we've never had the negative degree temperatures. We've had, I think, longer cold spells, but we had so many wind chills below 20 below for extended period that I've only seen 2 or 3 times, but I think this is probably the 5 days of it. And always kind of made it pretty interesting. Now we're back to where the turn is. We're at Dudden, one of the first court streets. I think it's Dudden Court. And right here, there's a spot where there was an old bike track right up here. And it's like all this little common area. No houses were in it. It was a BMX track. And back in the 80s, everybody had BMX mountain bikes. And we'd all ride our bikes down here to this special spot. But kids don't do any of that anymore. They all play video games. Back in these days, there weren't really a lot of video games. But this new Gabion basket retaining wall is pretty cool. I never realized that creek was split like that. Look how thick the ice is here. But this creek's definitely narrowed down since they built this big Gabion wall. These layers, it's made it really tight right here. I'm sure it's deep too. But it was never like this when I was a kid. It was a lot more. This is bigger. And the creek's definitely changed direction. And there's the water flowing. Called it the mountain stream, right? But what a perfect morning to be out here and get in here, you know? That's definitely Dudden Court. So I'd already made it past the other. And I heard the ice just crack. So this must be a deep spot. And it's wet. This road's over last night. So once again, I mean, getting out here, that's where the track was. Back up in this area. Years and years ago. I wish we had video then, but I mean, it was all in this big flat area up here. You could ride up the hill, come down and around. But now, everything's changed. Oh shit, went through my first thing ice. Cold foot. No good. But anyways, we made it through that other section of the bend. I'm over here and I think we're getting closer to Clay Cliff. I slid down Clay Cliff. We used to climb Clay Cliff when we were kids. Our parents would have killed us, but we definitely had a lot of fun. And my foot's starting to get pretty cold, but you know, with Wim Hof training, learning how to breathe, sticking your hands and feet in ice all the time, you really learn how to control yourself in the elements. But you got to watch out for stuff like that because the water's definitely running under the ice. And some kids are down here. Somebody messed with this. They actually froze the ice up with a shovel. I don't think that's Clay Cliff. Clay Cliff's down a little further. So what I was telling you is, once you get here and you get your mind as an adult to say, hey, I'm going to go back and do something that we normally just don't do, you can do it. And it feels invigorating. It feels like freedom. And freedom is the most important thing we have. And, you know, I think everybody should really take that into consideration. I'm pretty sure that is the old Clay Cliff, but it has tons of trees growing out of it now. So coming outside of the belly of Clay Cliff and down into the flats kind of for a little bit, there's a cool little spot that we used to come down here, and lots of guys from the neighborhood that were older would go over to this side called Rock City. I'm gonna head to Rock City now, getting close to the bend, and see if it's still there. I think I'm getting close to the ice that's gonna break, but so I might have to turn off for a minute. However, we're getting close to the end of the almost to where we'll come out by a park at the end, And we used to ride our motorcycles and bikes back here even when we got older, but it's kind of cool. So let's see if we can find Rock City. We're in the flats. I'll go around this bend. I'll turn the video back on. So here we're getting close to the throat of the trail to Rock City. I can't believe it's so cleared out here now, but I do believe it's still there. When we were younger, it felt like it took forever to get to Rock City and go up it. But even today, just walking, it doesn't seem like it's really taking that long. Let me get over to here. But this is the trail of Rock City. And it's an old winding little creek that went up to the other parts of the hills. And it will probably melt more as we go. I remember this kid, Hans Fusen. He was kind of a weird kid. He came up here and he had gallons of gasoline. And he threw them all over the creek and lit it on fire. We thought the guy was nuts when we were kids. Crazy old times, huh? But we'd always get up to the end here and there's a big concrete, like dam thing or something with little rock dividers. I don't know if it's still there. Like I said, it's been 35 years. Lots of rains, lots of weather, lots of different stuff. Nobody's been back here. No deer. This spot's, there's a little bit of pee there from something. But this is fresh snow right here. Kind of cool. But that is the old concrete right there. So it's really not that far up. I mean, I've been videoing for less than a minute, and I actually, like when I was a kid, it was forever to get up here. But you know how it is. But this used to be like a big belly of water right here. And this is where all these rocks are, and that's why we called it Rock City. Kind of cool. We look back that way. I don't know. I'm Pump. This is Tim on his journey through the neighborhood he lived in 35 years ago as a young kid. So just above Rock City, right here I found a camp, and nobody comes up from the way we did because it was all virgin snow. So they're coming up from this side. Let me show you. It's really weird. I'm going to flip the phone around. They got a campfire and these big stumps here and lots of little underbrush to hang out here in the woods. And it's all been cleaned up, and somebody even put a Christmas tree there. I think they're coming from that way. See all these tracks? But it seems like a long hike from any house, so it must be kids. It's got to be kids. Kids like the way we were. So, kind of investigating that. But, you know, when you go on a journey, and this pine tree actually might be living. Or it's fake. It's a fake one. They put it there. I don't know. Interesting. They got tracks all the way down this way. I could follow it, but that would take me back over to where I started, and I'm not going that way. This is where you want to get when you want to get connected. So, nice 4-minute meditation through the cold, in the air, in the snow. Hey, Tim coming straight back at you. I did a 4-minute meditation at Rock City and some 30-second breath holds. Feeling great. Now I'm here. This is where the old creek used to be because you could see the water diverter that they put in when they built the neighborhood, but it's expanded all the way over here and pushed this bank out. We're getting closer to the end, close to the park where I'll come out by the tennis courts. But yeah, we're about, I don't know, 300 yards from Rock City. Heading down. The ice is completely frozen and deep here. Trying to find signs of water flowing, but it looks pretty solid. I'm sure if you fell in, it'd be a cold one. So, Tim again. We're at the very end of the housing and where we were going down on our tour of the creek. Coming out by the, you can see the playground way up there. If you look, see it? See the slide? That's over at the park. You're getting to come out. They cut all this brush down here. I'm getting ready to come out down by the park, but I think I'm going to fall through. But we're going to make it somehow, some way. There's a tennis court right there. You can see the green tennis court thing. You think that's supposed to be solid? We're breaking ice as we go, bro. Look at all these cat tracks. See, the deer don't come down here near as much, but they were all up when I started on this journey. How far should I keep going? Should we take this further? Look at this. This is deep here. I wonder how thick the ice is. And if it was, I'd break it. It's just solid, man. I mean, I think some spots might be a few foot thick. Well, if you got any kind of sense of adventure in you, any Huck Finn, any, you know, Robinson Crusoe, any sailor, you'll be like me and you'll be doing stupid shit like this. But you know what? When you're done, you feel like you're alive. So, peace. Don't listen to politics too much because they don't matter. Fucking take care of your family and yourself and live the best you can and enjoy nature, the sun, the snow, all the seasons because they all matter, and take advantage of every one and live life to the fullest. This is Tim and I'm out. So, this is Tim coming straight at you. Just ran back down. Remember that fork I was telling you about right by where I said the bike track was? The bike track is this way, and I realized I needed to go back up this fork. So as I was walking back down through the neighborhood, I go, fuck, that other path is the other creek. And this area in here is where the bike track was. Because we always came down at the court that was up above here, which I'll come right by here in a minute. But and one of my best friends in grade school before he moved to Texas was Curtis Reese, and he lives right up here. And I'll show you his house as soon as I get there. But I got to get through all this underbrush. This is what it's like sometimes when you're an explorer. I made it to the bad brush. Kind of hot now. Yeah, it's 19 degrees where all the bad brush was. But closer to where we need to be. I'll show you the bike track now. See this little flat area up here? In between these houses over there, they plowed a lot of this. This whole woods was a bike track. And it was pretty fucking cool. I'm gonna try to go up in here. This area where these tracks are kind of like the old BMX track. And it went all the way around between these two creeks. And everybody came in the neighborhood up here through these folks' backyards and their easement. And that's a really good shortcut to get home, but we're gonna follow the creek back through this new part that they fixed. But everybody came in right through there when they did the bike track. And it was pretty big. I mean, you can see how far it goes. So, more exploration, more video, I guess. It'll be an interesting run. Now I gotta dive down which would be kind of cool. We'll see if I can do it with the phone on. There you go. We're good, bro. We're making it. Look at these paw prints. Super cat. Must be like a leopard. I don't know. I'm going to find him though. And when I do, we're going to take him back to the zoo. Okay, Tim coming straight at you one more time. I finally made it around the bend and close to the end. Probably will be close to the last video. Section of this video. I have to edit it all, obviously, but I got broken ice here, so I don't know how much further I'm going to go before I break through. But right here, see that big 2-story back up? That was my buddy Curtis Reese's house. And I got to see him about, I don't know, 4 years ago in Texas. I went and flew down to Dallas to get some training done at the Carlisle plant. And when I was there, we met up and hung out for a night. It was a good time. Great to see him. It's a good family. He ended up being like an excellent tennis player, tennis pro, and taught it in Texas. And then he did insurance work. But I am not that lucky. I just have to work hard all the time, be a contractor, and do what I do because I'm kind of stupid, but scared of myself. But back in the day, this had all eroded away, and they came in and put these huge retaining wall blocks in here. It's actually kind of pretty. They did a good job. They put a guardrail fence up. But when we were kids, it was straight down to the bottom from Kurt's house. And we had a tree house that his dad had made. And it had a hatch up on the top of the roof. It was really cool. It's really nice. Something I really remember. These are bringing back a lot of memories. It's kind of nostalgic to go for this hour-long hike through the ice in the frozen tundra of Missouri on the 20th of February. But you only get these opportunities once every maybe 4 years in Missouri. There's his house. That was the house he grew up in. And then actually another friend of mine from high school, his brother and his swam together, ended up living there. His name was, we called him Dude, but his name was Brett Siebenhaler and Alan Siebenhaler. But they weren't the same as old Kurt. I mean, Kurt and I were friends from original. We used to love Sting from the Police, and that was like in 1982 when Sting was at his best. It was a pretty good time. So, I'm going to see where this thing finishes up. I think I'm going to go through the ice here shortly. Looks like I did right there. Alright, adios. Well, this is the end. That's the part they did. There's Kurt's house. I was going to go through there, but it's solid ice and it's draining down at the other side, and now I got to go up this. So, we'll come back into civilization here in a minute. It's pretty much the easiest expedition I'll ever do, considering all you got to do is go up this hill to be on concrete. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I'm right by a customer's house now that we actually have to pour a driveway at in spring. So, and there's his house. This is Tim. I'm out. See ya.